As we look upon the modern world, a profound question often arises in our hearts. How are we creating people who are drifting further and further away from consciousness? Ramana Maharshi teaches us that this drift is not a punishment, but a deep longing of the soul that has temporarily forgotten its true home. We find ourselves wandering in the dense forests of worldly desires, seeking peace where it cannot be found. Yet, even in this wandering, there is a divine grace waiting for our surrender. We must recognize that our exhaustion is the very spark that calls us back to the feet of the Supreme. We build societies that worship the mind, the ego, and the illusion of control. We teach our children to conquer the external world and secure their identities in fleeting achievements. In doing so, we unknowingly craft the chains that bind us, pulling us away from the silent sanctuary of the heart. Ramana Maharshi gently reminds us that true freedom lies not in mastering the illusions of the world, but in surrendering them entirely to the divine will. When we lay down our heavy burdens of personal ambition, we begin to feel the warm embrace of the consciousness we thought we had lost. It is through pure devotion that we find our way back. The intellect alone will only weave more complex webs, distancing us further from the simple truth of our being. We must learn to trust the divine presence that dwells within us, offering every fear and desire into the sacred fire of surrender. By trusting the wisdom of Ramana Maharshi, we understand that the self is always present. Our drifting is merely a dream from which devotion gently awakens us, guiding us to rest deeply in the eternal love of the Supreme. Let us not despair at the wandering of our fellow souls. Instead, let us become quiet beacons of absolute trust. When we surrender our need to understand why humanity is drifting and simply offer our own hearts to the divine, we become vessels of grace. Resting in the silence, we remember we are never truly lost, but forever held in the boundless ocean of consciousness. The modern world constructs an intricate web of illusions, constantly drawing the soul outward and away from the sacred silence of the heart. Society builds its foundations upon the endless multiplication of desires, teaching the individual to seek fulfillment in the ephemeral rather than resting in the eternal. Humanity is conditioned to swim exhaustingly against the divine current, believing that personal effort will bring absolute peace. In this relentless pursuit, the true essence is forgotten, and pure awareness becomes obscured by the thick clouds of ambition. The soul is molded into an anxious entity, desperately trying to control the uncontrollable. Ramana Maharshi revealed that the root of all human agony lies precisely in this false identification with the physical form and the restless intellect. The current systems of the world reinforce this falsehood at every turn, glorifying the ego and its demands. Instead of cultivating a deep, devotional yielding to the supreme power, the environment encourages the glorification of the independent doer. The mind becomes entangled in superficial achievements, losing sight of the divine grace that orchestrates the universe. Without the anchor of devotion, the intellect runs wild, creating individuals who wander aimlessly in a desert of spiritual forgetfulness. Before we move on to the next part, I'd love to get to know you a little better. If you're watching this right now, leave a comment below with your name and the city you're watching from. Also share the biggest challenge or problem you're facing in your life right now, and write this sentence in the comments. I'm ready to awaken the observer within me. It's amazing to see where this incredible community is watching from around the world. And if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. From the earliest days of life, the innocent soul is trained to conquer and dominate the external landscape. The sacred altar of the spiritual heart is gradually abandoned, replaced by the noisy marketplace of worldly expectations. The profound beauty of total surrender is treated as a weakness, while the heavy burden of egoic pride is celebrated as a virtue. The individual is taught to carry the immense weight of existence upon their fragile shoulders, entirely unaware of the infinite love that patiently waits to carry the load. This profound lack of trust in the divine intelligence pulls the seeker further into the dense darkness of separation. To halt this tragic drifting away from pure consciousness, a radical return to the sanctuary of the heart is absolutely required. The seeker must cultivate an unwavering devotion, laying down the heavy armor of the false self at the feet of the divine.
For most of your life, you believed you were your thoughts. You believed the mind had to be fixed, silenced, controlled. But no one ever told you this. The mind was never the problem. The real trap is believing you are it. There is something in you that watches fear, that watches pain, that watches every thought arise and disappear. That observer has never suffered. It was never born, and it will never die. When this is seen, effort disappears. The spiritual search ends, because the one who was searching was never real. This is not a teaching to believe in. It is a direct experience, simple and deeply liberating. The book, The Awakening of the Observer, does not teach techniques. It points to the exact place where the ego dissolves. Each page is a mirror, and what is seen there cannot be unseen. If something in you recognizes these words, the call has already begun. Click the link in the comments and get your copy of The Awakening of the Observer now.
Ramana Maharshi beautifully illustrated this truth by comparing the anxious mind to a passenger on a train who foolishly insists on carrying their heavy luggage on their head. The train, representing the Supreme Lord, is already carrying everything. True liberation blossoms when the individual drops the baggage of personal will, surrendering completely to the Supreme Orchestrator and allowing grace to guide every breath. You are taught by the modern world to rely solely on your strength and to grasp tightly to your personal desires. Society demands that you control every outcome, urging you to fight against the current of life. This relentless grasping creates a heavy armor around your heart. By placing faith in the fragile construct of your ego, you slowly drift away from the infinite love that sustains your existence. In your pursuit of worldly security, you run tirelessly, believing individual efforts alone grant peace. Yet, you must notice the deep exhaustion that settles within your soul. This exhaustion is the direct result of carrying the weight of the universe on your own shoulders. The more you force your will upon the world, the more you distance yourself from pure consciousness. You replace quiet devotion with noisy anxieties, worshipping achievement instead of bowing to divine grace. The sage Ramana Maharshi illuminates the path back to the source through the beautiful act of total surrender. He asks you to consider why you insist on carrying your luggage on your head while traveling on a powerful train. The Supreme Power is already carrying the universe, including you. When you truly trust in this divine orchestration, you realize your anxiety is unnecessary. Ramana Maharshi invites you to lay down your burdens at the feet of the Supreme, offering your very sense of self. To awaken from this drift, you are called to cultivate an unwavering devotion. This is not merely an intellectual practice, but a complete yielding of your heart. You must allow yourself to be consumed by the love of the divine. When you surrender the illusion of being the doer, you make space for grace to flood your being. You stop fighting the waves and instead allow the majestic current of the Supreme Will to guide your journey, completely trusting that you are eternally safe and protected. Rest in the comforting embrace of this trust. You do not need to figure everything out or defend imaginary boundaries. By yielding your personal will to higher wisdom, you dissolve the walls of separation that society has built within you. In this sacred surrender, you are no longer drifting away into the darkness of ignorance. You are melting back into the radiant light of pure consciousness. Offer every breath to the divine, and experience the profound peace of simply being held. The relentless wandering of the modern mind stems from a deep reliance on the fragile ego, leading individuals far from the sanctuary of true consciousness. Society constructs an illusion of control, urging the soul to conquer the external world. Yet, this pursuit only deepens the spiritual exile. The antidote to this alienation is not found in intellect, but in the absolute surrender of the heart. When the individual yields the burden of personal will to the infinite grace of the Supreme, the drifting ceases. It is a return to pure devotion, where the soul recognizes its helplessness without the divine presence. Ramana Maharshi illuminated this path of supreme devotion, teaching that true peace blossoms only when the false self bows to the eternal self. He revealed that the restless mind cannot be subdued by force. It must be melted by the warmth of boundless love and unshakable trust. Humanity drifts away from consciousness because it has forgotten how to trust the divine undercurrent that orchestrates existence. To surrender is to offer every thought at the lotus feet of the inner reality. In this sacred act, the illusion of separation dissolves, and the seeker is embraced by the Supreme. True devotion requires no grand external gestures. It is the silent offering of the ego on the altar of the heart. Modern culture breeds disconnection by celebrating the independent doer, but fulfillment rests in the realization that the divine is the sole actor. When a person trusts the guiding hand of grace, the agonizing struggle vanishes. The individual becomes a hollow reed, allowing the breath of the cosmos to play its melody. This trust transforms existence into a continuous prayer, where every heartbeat is a whisper of divine love. Ramana Maharshi assured that once a soul surrenders its entire existence to the higher power, the Supreme takes full responsibility for that life. There is no longer any need to worry about drifting away, for the compass of the heart is fixed upon the beloved. The fears of the modern age lose their grip when an individual rests entirely in the certainty of divine protection. It is a state of childlike innocence, where the soul rests securely in the lap of the infinite mother, free from the turbulent storms of the calculating mind. To reclaim the lost consciousness of humanity, the path inevitably leads back to this sweet, unconditional surrender. The mind that tries to understand the infinite will always remain lost. However, the heart that opens itself in pure devotion instantly touches the absolute. Through this total yielding, the light of pure awareness floods the being, washing away all isolation. The soul remembers its true home, forever anchored in the comforting depths of supreme love. If this message touched your heart or helped you see your life from a deeper perspective, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and share this video with friends and family who may also need this insight. And before you leave, make sure to watch the next video appearing on your end screen, because it continues this journey and may help you understand the observer within you even more clearly. If you'd like to go deeper into this subject, you can also explore the book, The Awakening of the Observer, where these ideas are explained in much greater depth with practical exercises you can apply in everyday life. The link is in the pinned comment. And if this video truly helped you in some way, you can also support the channel through Buy Me a Coffee too, because your support makes it possible for me to keep creating new videos and sharing these teachings. Both links are waiting for you in the pinned comment.